Hey, Sudat, good morning and welcome to everyone who is joining us from near and far. We're going to wait just another minute or so to allow some folks some time to join us.
As we wait, Carla, let me just say that the weather is really nice today here in Santa Kahini. It looks like spring, but we're trying not to be fooled because we've been fooled before. But it seems like all the creatures of the sea are moving this way. You can just tell the waters are nice and calm, and there's fresh snow on the mountains, but not all the way down on the road. So we're feeling real encouraged that spring is on its way. And of course, that means gold medal.
Have you been warming up and practicing your cheering and your chanting for Angoon, Barbara?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm looking forward to that mushroom-sized popcorn, which I'm not supposed to eat.
Yes, everybody here I think, has gold medal fever for sure. But yesterday, I don't know if you noticed that we had like almost all 4 seasons of weather in one day. So that tells me we're really, really close to our Easter egg, our own version of Easter eggs. Everyone's looking forward to our herring eggs harvesting in Sitka. So everyone's anxiously waiting and watching the weather for the patterns to see how soon we can start our harvest this year.
It's a nice reminder.
Just about a minute and a half. And so I think if folks are still just joining us, just allow me to start with a brief introduction. Yak e sutat. Good morning, everyone. Yak e kwasatini. Hachi adi. It's so good to see you here. It is a beautiful day in Occoquan territory in Santa Kahini, Juneau, Alaska. Pacific Northwest Coast Arts Capital of the world, as we like to say. Atling Gunishish to the Occoquan, Yakchitan Tlinadi, as well as our neighbors to the just immediate south of us, the Takuquan folks, for allowing us to be among you in your territory and to be your neighbors. We are very gracious that you welcome us into your territories. Klingit kaina kun yukat duasak, late ka kaina Carla, yikat duasak. Kagwantan nakatsati, kuhit ayakat, daktentan yadi ka dachkan, hanak, dachkan, excuse me, ayakat, hunakawu ka shitka kwan ayakat. So my Tlingit name, the name that I was born with, is Katkun. I carry the name of the many of you might remember my aunt Violet Obert James. Her mother, Frances Obert, is the name that I carry. I am Kagwantan, which means I am Eagle Wolf, and I come from the Box House. My people are from Huna, but also our Box House clan originates in Sitka. I'm here to be your moderator today. And with that, I want to give a brief introduction to the person who is providing us some tremendous leadership over the years and some guidance, and is going to be serving as our opening remarks giver. We have Peshkuge, Barbara Cadiente Nelson, Tekwedi from Kutsnuwu Kudzida Kwan Angun, and who is also Tlinadi and Filipino Yadi, her father Filipino being adopted into Tlinadi. She has served as chair for the Sealaska Shareholder Relations Committee and is a member of the Governance Committee, as well as the Nominations and Finances Committee, and is also a trustee on the Sealaska Heritage Board of Trustees, and has been a director since 2009. Kashkuge, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Goodness Geesh for that introduction, and thank you all to the staff for setting this up so that we can engage with our shareholders. And thanks to each of you for taking time out of your day to join us. What we believe is to be very important. It's still a little bit before noon, so it gives me an opportunity to say Yake Sutat, good morning, and welcome to part 2 of our virtual engagement series, How to Be an Engaged Shareholder. We're so very glad that you joined us today as we continue exploring meaningful ways to stay connected and informed as members of this extraordinary community. Today, we will be taking a closer look at the tools and knowledge that help you stay actively connected as a shareholder. Your participation reflects your commitment to not only preserving, but strengthening our shared heritage and our legacy. In this session today, we'll dive into some important topics designed to empower you as shareholders. We'll discuss the value of keeping your shareholder records up to date by maintaining current contact and banking information. We'll also discuss the crucial steps of filing a stock will for those of you who hold Class A village, Class B urban landless, and Class C at-large shares. We'll also highlight how to make the most of our shareholder portal, a valuable resource designed to make updating your information easier than ever before. Before we begin, let's celebrate some milestones that showcase the strength and unity of our shareholder community. We are so thrilled to share that as of March 4th, 2025, we have surpassed a significant milestone. We are 27,000 shareholders strong, and this marks an exciting moment for all of us as we continue to grow. Imagine, if you will, what we together can achieve in making this a better world for all of us and for generations to follow. Just imagine 27,000 shareholders strong. Each month we'll enroll an average of 100 new descendants embracing Ha Shagun, our ancient traditional values of intergenerational thinking, forward planning, and interconnectedness. This reflects our dedication to stewardship of our land and our resources and of one another, ensuring our community thrives as we shape a vibrant future for generations to come. Over 80% of our shareholders are registered on MyC Alaska. Isn't that amazing? 80% registered on MyC Alaska, actively engaging with the tools available to stay informed and to stay connected. That's so important. Through the Dayshu Fund, we've provided over 1,900 burial assistance payments, which total nearly 1.8 million in support during life's most challenging moments. Together, these numbers tell a story of growth, participation, and mutual support. And as we move forward, we encourage you to take full advantage of the resources available to you as a shareholder, because an engaged shareholder is a powerful shareholder. Again, Gunishchish, Hawa, Toyakset Nusum, Salamat Po. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get started.
Before we begin, I just want to make a quick announcement that I didn't mention prior to Kashkuge giving us her opening remarks, is that out of respect to our two presenters today, who are not just staff, they are shareholders as well. We want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity to learn what they need to learn from and take away from this presentation what they can. So out of respect to our presenters, we will pause the live chat feature, but don't worry. Throughout this whole process, you still will be able to submit questions using our online chat feature, and then those will be brought back online at the end of the presentation. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, our speaker looks like she is ready. So I would like to welcome everybody to listen to Yashkadas Jody Gaddy, who is our shareholder relations manager. She's going to discuss some of the important aspects of maintaining your shareholder record. She's also going to cover a little bit about shareholder responsibilities and how doing your part as shareholders ultimately helps us in the success of our administrative operations. So Yashkadas, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Barbara. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking your lunch and spending some time with us today. My name is Jody Gaddy. I am the Shareholder Relations Manager for Sealaska Corporation. I'm really honored to be with you all today to discuss how to be an engaged shareholder and your responsibilities when it comes to shareholder records. Introduction slides. Okay. Just to begin, I want to just emphasize how easy it is to enroll as a descendant. I do recognize the fact that you do need to be enrolled and registered with MySeaLaska to be online with us today. However, I want you guys to take something away from this today, and that is how quick it is for you folks to enroll or to tell your family members and friends. So it's really just as simple as 6 clicks and 2 picks. So you verify your information once you register for a MySeaLaska account. And then you're asked these 4 questions: whether or not you're a United States citizen, if you're the lineal descendant of an original Sealaska shareholder. Then it will ask you a clarifying question right there. If you are the lineal descendant of an original shareholder, who is that original shareholder? Whether it be your mother, your father, your grandfather, or your grandmother. And you can go as far back as you need to reach that, make that lineal connection to the original shareholder. Do you already own shares in any INCSA regional corporation? And are you an enrolled member of Metlakatla Indian Community? After answering those 4 questions, you'll just need to upload 2 photos, which would be your state issued ID card and a birth certificate. And sometimes we do ask you to upload your parents' birth certificate if you do have your grandfather or your grandmother listed. Right, and just transitioning over to once you are enrolled, you do have some responsibilities as a shareholder, including participating in our corporate elections, keeping your records current with shareholder relations by advising us of things such as name changes, address changes, or deceased shareholders. Another way to stay engaged with, another important shareholder responsibility is staying engaged. And you guys are off to a great start today. You're attending an event, participating in surveys, other activities such as our shareholder information fairs that we have coming up. And another very important responsibility, if you own those class shares that Barbara mentioned earlier, is making sure you have a valid stock will on file. Having a stock will on file empowers you to determine the future of your Sealaska shares. And it's quite a simple document. That's also a 1-page document. You can find it on MySeaLaska on your About Me page, whether or not you have a current stock will on file or not. You need to decide how many shares will go to each person you want to leave them to, as many or as few people as you want. And make sure you don't sign the stock will until you're in the presence of a notary. Just a small note at the bottom here. If you choose to will your shares to a non-native, that would result in some non-voting shares. So please consider the future of your shares in the corporation when filling out this form. So the reason we have included this unsettled estates slide today is because if you do not have a stock will on file, this is what happens with your shares. When a shareholder does pass away without this documentation on file, those shares are transferred according to the Alaska statutes on intestate succession. So we really want to emphasize the importance of filling out the stock will so you don't end up on our unsettled estate list, and making sure we have those shares to a living shareholder is very important because those shares need to be voted. Those shares need to be connected to somebody who is living. So making sure we pass along the legacy to another living individual and not ending up sometimes on this list for years. And it's just really a tragic situation to be in, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. So when a shareholder does pass away, we do need these following documents. You need a copy of the death certificate. This does not need to be the original death certificate. You can send a photocopy of it to us. You can email it to us. We do have work cell phones, so you can text it to us as well. If you're dealing with a shareholder relations associate on the phone, they'll often give you their phone number and you can text it to them or send it to their email directly. You'll also need a properly completed shareholder stock will or a last will and testament. Just transitioning to the Deshu Memorial Fund. This is a shareholder benefit that I think we need to do a better job of emphasizing the importance of and its existence in general, right? Like how this is one of the most generous burial benefits that are available in Southeast Alaska, which allows you to claim up to $1,000 of burial benefits for shareholders. And the service just helps shareholders bring their loved ones home to lay them to rest. And this is available for shareholders living inside and outside of Alaska. And here are just the various ways that you can contact us. The MyC Alaska message feature, which Josh will go over next on how to complete or how to log into MyC Alaska and utilize that feature. How you can reach us. This is our toll-free number, our main number, our fax number, and then our email. And thank you so much for listening to our presentation today. And I'll just introduce Josh very quickly. Josh is one of our applications developers for MyC Alaska and just does a great job supporting Sea Alaska, not only our staff, but our shareholders. So just let Josh take it away from here. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Jody. I am going to steal the screen share real quick. Let's see. All right, I hope everyone can hear and see me. Otherwise, this is going to be really awkward. So like Jody said, my name is Joshua Quinto. I am Leonid from Yaktahit in Akwan, and I am one of the application developers for Sea Alaska. I normally do a lot of things behind the scenes, grabbing data, updating MyC Alaska, working on our shareholder management system. But I'm here today to talk to you guys a bit about the shareholder portal as well as how I got here. They dragged me out in front of this camera to talk to you guys, so hope you guys enjoy it. So my journey with Sea Alaska started in 2021 when I interned. Oh God, why is it? Oh wait, I'm sharing the live stream, so it's gonna look all funny. I got distracted by that. My journey with Sea Alaska started in 2021 when I interned with Sea Alaska in the IT department. And through that internship, I was able to build a lot of professional connections. Throw this up instead. I was able to build a lot of good professional connections. From those professional connections, I became a sponsor student and I attended ACES for quite a few years. And during my time attending these ACES conferences, that inspired me to come back and try to help serve our people. So when I graduated in 2022 from the Florida Institute of Technology, I went and worked for Goldbelt in the IT team. And I loved working there. It was a great team, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really what I wanted to do with my degree. So when the job opportunity with Sea Alaska came up, I jumped at the chance to work for Sea Alaska and do application development. And the rest is history. Now I went from shareholder to staff, and I get to work for you guys, building really cool features like the shareholder web portal. So the one I have up right now is actually one I grabbed from Jason, my mentor, the guy who's largely written most of the code for MyC Alaska. And this is the original concept for MyC Alaska from 2011. So the shareholder web portal was launched in 2013 during the election cycle. And since then, it's gone through many iterations, updates, and features have been added, largely based on staff feedback, shareholder staff feedback, and even you guys. We often get comments from you guys saying, oh, this thing's a little buggy, or can you move this, or can we have this feature? And we do listen to that. So if you guys ever have a request for a feature or something, send us a message, which I'll go over how to do later. But going over the shareholder web portal concept, you'll see a lot of familiar things that maybe some of you guys are more familiar with. So you'll see that there's still the about me, addresses, payments, and the message feature. So if you guys want to chat with us, go for it. So I'm going to switch back to the landing page for MyC Alaska. It is going to do that weird, mirrored effect. So I'll try to go through it quick so it's not too distracting. So here we are. I am logged in today. It is a fake account we created yesterday just for the purpose of showing you guys. So no one's information is going to get leaked or anything like that. Today I am logged in as Bruce Wayne. So some of you might have saw me chatting in the chat before the presentation started. That was me, kind of having some fun. So on this page, you'll have obviously the live stream. Some of you are even watching from this page. Normally on this page, there's a bunch of links as well as the latest news and the latest upcoming event. So this is just a really cool landing page that our comms team designed a while back. So I see it's starting to mirror now, so I'm going to jump on over to the About Me page because this is really where most of you are going to spend most of your time and the main page you're going to interact with. On this page, there's some really important information like your shareholder ID, a QR code that you guys can use to sign in at community meetings. You can see what email address you have on file with us. So that's just our DevOps account. You can see where you live, or at least what address we have. You can see that I live in 1 The Cave, Gotham City, New York. And my cell phone number is 123 blah, blah, blah. I can double check the information of my banking info and I can even hide it. And you can also see I don't have a stock will on file. That's not great. So if Bruce Wayne were to pass away, his shares could go wherever, Whereas if I do have a stock will on file, I can make sure those shares are left to my theoretical sons. So moving on, I know tax season is over, or at least it should be for most of you. You can get your 1099s here before they come in the mail. So this is actually the way I do my taxes with the other portals as well as MyC Alaska. The account we created doesn't have any taxable distributions, but otherwise, normally you'd be able to go back and get all your 1099s going all the way back to whenever you first received distributions. Certificates is just a more detailed view of your certificates that you do own. You can see that Bruce Wayne has 10 Class B shares, and there's a nice little link to update the stock will there. You can also go check on any payments you have had or will have upcoming up. During the spring distribution, you'll see that, hey, you are estimated to receive X amount of money. That's just a quick little calculation we do to estimate. It's not a final number, but it's usually pretty darn close. We do only show the last 5 years because otherwise it's just way too much information. But if you're ever curious about how much money you've received from C Alaska over the years, there's this nice little blurb up top. So you can see Bruce Wayne has received $528 since 2023. And fun fact, this little blurb up here was one of the first things I wrote when I came on as an app developer. I remember I spent a couple days on it and I was so proud of myself for learning the system, learning the payments table, and figuring out how to get that over to HTML. But now looking back, I'm like, wow, I can throw that together in 30 minutes now. So it's just always nice seeing some old features I added and seeing how far I've come with the company. Some self-service things you guys can do. You can request income verification and get a shareholder verification letter. So I know a lot of you come into the office or call in to get these verification letters, and I'm here to tell you, you guys don't need to do that. Not that we don't love seeing your guys' face, but if you're ever in a hurry or just need it right away, you can come here to get that. All you have to do is pick the year, select the end year, hit the button, it'll do its little thing, and it'll download it right here. So I'm gonna skip over a couple things. I will come back to them. But I mentioned earlier, if you guys have any questions, send us a message. So, but if you guys have a question right now, there should be a little question box to the right of the screen that you're looking at. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please send them there. Once the stream is over, if you have any questions or recommendations for us, send it here. All you have to do is fill out this form. You can see that I'm sending it from Bruce Wayne. Put in the subject, pick a category, and type in a question. Just say, hello, my name is Bruce. The subject is I'm just testing it. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy as that. Just gotta load real quick. Perfect. So then, if you ever want to see any conversations you have had with us, all you have to do is go to your messages, and it's all there. And you can even see I simulated a conversation with shareholder relations yesterday. So I wanted to know, how do I enroll my sons, Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damien? Shareholder relations was prompt with a response and explained to me that if my sons are 18 or older, they can create their own MySeaLaska profile, and once they logged in, they can enroll themselves there. So we're going to jump over to that enrollment application that Jody was talking about earlier, where it's 6 clicks and 2 pictures. So you can see just a quick summary of my information. Born January 1st, 2000. I'm Bruce Wayne. I live in Gotham City. Don't really care what people call me. Don't have a maiden name. Let's see. I am a U.S. citizen. I am an original descendant, so I'm going to doct myself a little here, but I think my grandma's watching this stream, so you do have to put in your lineal ancestor. So in my case, like in the real world, it is going to be my grandmother. So Andrea Caesar. And that'll just quickly grab her information, verify it's her based on her birthday. She is my grandmother. And then I don't own shares in any other community. I don't live in Metlakatla. I hit apply. Easy as that. Then you just go back to descendant enrollment and you see all you have to do is upload your files here. In this case, I do have to upload 2 birth certificates. In this case, my parents' birth certificate as well as my grandmother's birth certificate, or my birth certificate, my bad. But it's easy as that. If you have all the documents ready, you can get this done in 5 minutes. So if you have anyone in your family, a grandson, a niece, nephew, whoever who is eligible to enroll but hasn't, please send them here. It's so easy. It takes no time at all. So some of you may or may not have your address up to date or your banking info. You can do that all from under Change My Information. So they all look the same, so I'm only going to go over one of them, but basically you just put in your new address. Let's say I want to live at 123 Metropolis. Now it's not actually going to let me put that in. Oh, wait, there is a Metropolis Street. Cool. I thought Metropolis wasn't real. And then it's going to send you a verification code. And that can go to either your phone number or your email address. It's super easy. You just got to make sure your phone number and email address are up to date. And then all the other forms will look like this. Super easy to update stuff. All right, moving on to services and forms. So here's a quick overview. And I'm going to go over the more important stuff. I am going to skip around a little bit. And you guys are welcome to check this out yourselves after the stream. So first thing I'm going to go over is annual reports. So we actually recently found a hard drive with all of the annual reports going back to 1973. And there are these beautiful information. It's this beautiful covers full of lots of cool information. And it's really cool to see Alaska's style changing over the years. So quick shout out to our communications team, past, present, and future, for these beautiful annual reports that they churn out every year. So much work goes into them. So please go check them out and acknowledge that these guys do a lot of great work. Here's a quick summary of the elder benefits that Jody was talking about earlier. I'm sure a lot of you guys are elders. Some of you may or may not be. It's just the information regarding that. You can also get the link for Alaska Scholarship here. Now, scholarship isn't open right now. That deadline, I believe, has passed, but if you have any family members who are in college, please have them go here and log in. The scholarship website is also one of my responsibilities, which kind of feels good for me because I feel like that's coming full circle. One of the things that helped get me through college was the scholarship, and this scholarship kind of helped me just pay for books, my rent, and even just my tuition sometimes. So being able to work on this system and help provide this scholarship to other people who were in my situation is just a really good feeling. So here's another important list: shareholders with bad addresses. Now, some of you don't have your addresses up to date, and sometimes we get return mail. We get a lot of return mail. So after the stream, I ask that you guys please, please, please go take a look at this list and see if you recognize any names on it. It is such a long list. We cannot chase down every single person on this list ourselves. So having you guys help us with that would be a huge help for us. This is just another way, this link right here is just another way of getting to that verification letters I showed you earlier. We're gonna go back to services and forms. That's just some little magic right there. If you guys are ever curious how many shareholders live in the area, here's a really cool map Jason built a few years ago, where you can see how many live in your area. Now, this map is admittedly more so for us staff to help decide community meetings and figure out where people live and where the best place to have our meetings are. Let's see. So it's really cool feature that we use quite often. So you can see that the majority of our shareholder base does live in Southeast Alaska, but you can see a good portion of you guys live in Washington now. As that's just a trend we've seen happening over the years as more people move around. I like to say I'm always jealous of the one person who lives in Guam as well as the one person who lives in Samoa and the 100 some odd people who live in the Hawaiian Islands. I always say that I need to go check on them, so Sea Alaska should send me down there to, check their connection or something, but they never take me up on that offer. So going over some forms Jody mentioned earlier, the Deishu Memorial Fund, you can find that right here under services and forms. You can download the application here, super easy. Jody, I think, touched on it enough earlier, so I won't talk too much about it. If some of you like doing the paper forms and filling out the whole thing by yourself and printing it and then mailing it in, you can get those here. These are just the old-fashioned way that we keep around of updating your address. But we also include a link to change your address on the site. That is the fastest and easiest way we can update our address with you guys. But if you ever need to change your custodian, change your name, like you get married or something, this is where you go and get that stuff. As well as stock wills. Get your guys' stock wills in. Let's see, moving on to opportunities. So here's a good place to go if you guys ever need to, if you ever want to work for Sea Alaska, you want to get a scholarship, something like that. I did forget something actually. So let's say I'm Bruce Wayne and my volunteering at night isn't paying the bills. So you can scroll down here and sign up for job alerts. You can see I've already signed up. It's just one button. And then anytime Sea Alaska posts or updates a job, you guys will get an email with your email on file about that job opening. So if you want to work in the office with me, go ahead and sign up for that. And speaking of jobs, you can actually see all the job opportunities Sea Alaska has right now. We have all these awesome jobs, not just in Juneau, Alaska, but all the way from California to, let's see, I think that one's remote. That's a cool one. I've seen jobs from California, Florida, Washington, D.C., and even over at SHI. I believe if you want to work at the corporate office, there's actually 2 jobs we've been promoting recently, an internship program coordinator, as well as a shareholder development manager. So we are hiring for some of those. If you or anyone else you know is qualified for that job, throw your hat in the ring. You can come hang out in the office with us. Here's just another link to scholarships, and that'll just direct you to the page I showed you earlier. Here's some information on internships. Now, once again, the internship deadline has passed, and we're actually getting ready right now to welcome a cohort of more than, I think, 30 interns for this summer. So that's super exciting. We have the Carving and Bark program. So if you guys ever have any cultural or heritage reasons you need like spruce or something, the Carving and Bark program, you can apply and get logs, wood, whatever you need. Sea Alaska often donates timber from our lands to do stuff like totem pole carving or canoes, just kind of keeping that skill set alive. All right. Shareholder estates, I'm getting messages to remind people of stuff because I'm bouncing around now. So we're going to go over, let's see, was shareholder estates. Yes. So this page is a dynamic page for shareholder estates. Any estate that is older than 5 years old will end up on this page, which we have a lot of. Sometimes people pass away and, there's not someone around to let us know. And so these are all estates where there's either shares or money sitting in an account going nowhere. So once again, after the stream, please take a look at this page. And if you see anyone you know on it, let us know, because we want to make sure the money and the shares go to the right people, because otherwise they're just going to sit in an account gathering dust, which in my opinion isn't a great use for those shares. They should be going to our people and helping people out. Now, bouncing back to news and events. So if you ever want to see what Sealaska is up to, this is a great place. You can go back all the way to 2016 to see all of our news items, all the way from Richard Reinhardt becoming the new board chair to going all the way back to 2016 when we made a major investment into a new plan. And quick shout out to Taylor Natkong if she's watching. She was an amazing intern we had a couple years ago, and she built this search bar for you guys so you can more easily find news. We also have a lot of upcoming events, so like this one. So as you can see, we have upcoming events here. This is the current one you are watching right now, but you can see all our community meetings and business meetings, as well as annual reports and any other share live streams we'll be doing. It'll be put right here. More information will be coming for a lot of these. We update them once we confirm some details. Another feature that I'm very proud of that I built using the Twilio API was event reminders. So if you ever are in the area and you want to remember what's going on that day, you can actually sign up for event reminders. So 9 a.m. the day before the event, a text or an email will go out to you reminding you about the event. I don't have a good number on file, so I'd have to update that to receive text communication, but I do have an email on file. So you can just pick whether you want text or email and then hit save, and it'll remind you the day before. You can also look at, shout out to our comms again, newsletters. So you can go back and see all the newsletters we've put out over the years. If you ever want to see what we're doing then or now, you can access them here rather than having to get them in the mail. And last but not least, I'm going to end on the stream archive. So if you guys missed the beginning of the stream, or you have family or friends who missed the stream and want to watch it later, we do upload all of our streams right here for you guys to watch back later on. You do have to be signed in to see it. So if I log out real quick and I go to the same page, you won't be able to see the stream archive. Some of the stuff I showed you today does require to be signed in to see. That is on purpose. All you have to sign in and it'll bring you back all the features. So with that being said, that's the shareholder portal. That's what I do every day. That's my bread and butter. And I think we're going to turn it over now to some questions.
All right, Atling Gunishchish, Yashkaras, Atling Gunishchish, Joshua, for taking time out of your busy schedules today to actually have a meaningful and eventful engagement with our shareholders. It's, one of the things that we wanted to do for those of you out in our audience is, try to highlight and give a little bit of spotlight to our younger generation. Those are the folks that are the elders in apprentice, and we are trying to make sure that we make space for them to have have some spotlight and make space for them to talk about their subject matter expertise and to let you know and showcase to all of you that we have a very wide and deep talent pool amongst our shareholders. And so we like to showcase those when we have them at our disposal here at headquarters. Thank you so much for today's presentation. We do have some questions that have come in, and for those that I can answer, I will take on those, but there are a couple of them that are specific to each of your program areas. So if I can start with those, let's see here. So Yaf Gadas, Marcella is asking, does an old stock will ever expire? Can you please talk about that?
Yeah, thank you so much, Marcella. That's a great question. The answer is no. The only time a stock will would become invalid is if you were to complete a new one. So the most recent dated stock will override the previously dated stock will.
Okay, hopefully that answers Marcella's question in full, but we've got another stock related question from Randall, who is asking if the shares are passed to a non-native shareholder and then are willed back to existing native descendants, do they become voting stock again?
That's also a great question. And we talked about this before we jumped on the call actually this morning. So yes, they can be returned back to voting stock. So if you have a non-native spouse that happened to have inherited your shares, and that non-native spouse then passes away, those shares, if hopefully they have a stock will on file, will their stock to their native children they have together, those shares will become voting stock again.
Okay, and Louis is asking, why does Alaska care if you are or are not enrolled in Metlakatla Indian Community? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure, it's just the way the law is structured. So if you're enrolled with Metlakatla Indian Community, you cannot enroll with Alaska as well.
I believe that's a no. The law you're referring to is ANCSA law, correct? Because Metlakatla pulled out of the ANCSA law, the ANCSA Act passage, and opted instead for title to their own reserve. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like we've got a couple other questions here. And for those that we don't get round to, because I'm sure most folks are anxious to get down to the nitty gritty and talk about some prizes. But before we do, we want to make sure we answer as many of these questions as we can. And if we don't answer, please feel free to utilize the shareholder portal and send us your questions directly, and we can respond and have a good, healthy conversation that way as well. So the next question, maybe Josh, you could possibly answer if closed captioning is an option for our viewers out in virtual world.
Unfortunately, we can't do closed captions live. That's just not a feature we have. So a little view into the back end, we are actually streaming to a private YouTube channel, which we then wrap in our own Alaska live stream, code. So you guys can chat through Alaska rather than YouTube. And that's just a way for us to kind of regulate who can see the streams. I do believe once we upload it to YouTube, closed captioning does become available through YouTube's magic algorithm. So if you guys want to look back after the stream with some closed captions, that should be available.
Okay, and it looks like there's another tech-related question, Josh, so I'm not going to let you go just yet. It is asking, let's see here, my question list just skewed for me, so I have to scroll back to it. Frank is asking, will the income verification features ever be put onto the village versions of the shareholder portals?
I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not going to say yes. It is very common for us to port features back and forth if enough people ask for them. Given that you're asking for it now, who knows, maybe that's going to be my task next week or the rest of the day today. I just have to talk to Jason and see how he feels about that. But if you guys noticed, there are going to be a lot of similarities between shareholder portals. Something I didn't get to talk on later is that every single village and corporation in Southeast Alaska utilizes our shareholder portal. So that means Sea Alaska is essentially the hub for all the Southeast villages and even a couple up north. So if you're familiar with My Sea Alaska, you will be familiar with My Gold Belt, My Huna Totem, so and so. And I know even Carla is familiar with it because she used to work at Huna Totem. So when she came over to Sea Alaska, it was practically the exact same system. So there was very little uptime for that.
Take myself off mute there. Sorry about that. Thank you, Josh, so much for, again, lending us your expertise. Jody, there is one more question that's just come in that I think is probably important that we do touch on here is who can fill out an affidavit when someone passes away?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Anyone who has the valid information regarding the shareholder who passed away can complete the affidavit. So this could be family members, close friends, things like that. It just is to verify. We often get more than one, and sometimes there's conflicting information on there. So we try to do our due diligence as much as possible when sending out that inheritance questionnaire after someone passes away. And that's only done if folks have a stock will or have no stock will on file or have an invalid stock will on file.
So you did mention that sometimes you do get more than one of these affidavits, and that's okay because you can sort of piece together some of the bits of information that are coming on each separate affidavit. So it's not a bad thing to get too much information. And along that same note, we have another question that's related to the records, and that is, what is the typical turnaround time for documents to be returned when folks are applying for their descendant shares?
Hi, Markel. Thank you for that question. We do not require any original documents for anything. So please don't send us any original documents. Those are so important. I want to make sure that you guys keep them. Please just send us some copies of those. Our enrollment's done 100% online. If there is an instance where you need to send it in, please just send us a photocopy if possible.
So there are a few very specific questions that are a little outside of mine, Yafkadas, and Joshua's wheelhouse. And so rather than unwittingly giving incorrect information, I think what we can do is defer to the subject matter experts, in this case, our accounting team, to talk about the taxes and 1099 forms and those kinds of things. So we can forward those questions on to the appropriate staff to get the correct information for you, and then be sure that we can communicate that off to you directly in the portal. Or if you would prefer a phone call, sure, you're always welcome to give us a call here. With that, I'm going to now switch a little bit of gear here so that we make sure that we have enough time for our prize drawings. For those of you who have joined us online today, we have very similar and very wonderful prizes today. We have got randomly generated names or drawn, and those are going to go for $100 Sea Alaska Heritage retail store gift cards, as well as direct cash payment to you, or direct payment to you as a shareholder for winning the prize. So stick around. We're still going to come and do that next. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events that we have. And as Joshua had pointed out earlier, we have the ability as shareholders to log on 24/7 and utilize any of these features, whether that be the income verifications, the shareholder verifications. You just want to look at, your pending payments. You can double check where your direct deposit is going to. You have access to that at your fingertips 24/7. But also, that one of the great features about the portal is we use that as a hub to house all of our information here, that we can make sure historical annual reports. You know, shareholders often ask, where can I get a copy of 2001's annual report? Well, it's housed in the portal because that is public information as well, because we do have to file that information every year with the Division of Banking and Securities. But for your convenience, it is housed right on the portal. Later on in the year, it's a little too early right now, but later on in the year, you will see a feature enabled that houses all of the annual election information on there. So you will find out dates and times and locations and places where you can send your questions to in regards to the election at that time of year. So I wanted to talk about some of our upcoming events that we have, rather than try to cram everything into a very short, condensed schedule for community visits. What we've decided to do this year is a little bit different approach in that we have spread out our community engagement activities and some of our board meetings to occur outside of the election cycle. So rather than everything being scrunched into an 8-week period, we are now coming to you, to your location, and meeting our shareholders where they are at by strategically choosing communities throughout Southeast, throughout Alaska, and to where our population base is in the lower 48. So keep an eye out. You will see announcements on our social media. You will see announcements come to your email, and you will even see announcements coming through snail mail to you specific to your location. So I really want to give a shout out right now. I'm really excited that we are getting ready to come to Wasilla for the first time as part of our outreach and engagement efforts. So we will be in Anchorage and Wasilla later in the spring. The exact dates are, I think, posted on the website, on the portal. You can see where we're going to be on any of those given dates. We have Wrangell is our next up on deck, actually. We will be in Wrangell on April 9th. That's a Wednesday from 5 to 7 at the Nolan Center. And we look forward to having you folks come in and join us and engage with us. The gathering at the Nolan Center is going to be set up a little bit like a fair fashion, and we've invited some of our local partner organizations who have boots on the ground, who can provide you with information about their programs that they offer as well. So, you know, expect to see our partners in Search, Plinkett Haida Navigators, Head Start, possibly. You know, we wanted to make sure that we gave you an opportunity to really get the most out of your time with us, in addition to speaking to our Sealaska management and senior executives and our board of directors. And we will be coming again, as I said, on April 9th. Look to the events page on the portal. It's news and events and stream archive for this recording of today's session. And without further ado, do we have the list of prize winners? Just one moment, we're looking at some technical difficulties here. All right, so we have our list of names from today's viewers. Want to say congratulations to Elizabeth Lizzie Lindoff. You have won a $100 shareholder payment. Jason Wilson, congratulations. You have won a $100 shareholder payment. Bonnie Lynn West, you have won a $100 SHI gift card. Lynn Joe Haynes, congratulations. You have also won a $100 SHI card. And Diane Marie Comer, congratulations. You have won a $100 SHI card. And thank you again, everyone, for taking the time out of your day to spend with us. Thank you to our tremendous team here at Sealaska Corporation, and to our leadership in Barbara Cadiente Nelson on our board for taking time out of her schedule as well to give us our opening remarks. With that, is there anything else for the good of the order that the folks would like to share before we sign off for the day?
Yeah, Carla, if you don't mind, I'll jump in with some important dates for folks to consider moving forward. We do, as you mentioned, have the meeting in Wrangell that'll occur at the same time as the board meeting. So April 9th is the meeting that we'll have there for shareholders, and then the board will meet on the 10th. Record date for this upcoming distribution is going to be April 11th. So making sure that you have all the updated information, and that information from Josh on how to do that is really why we wanted to come together today. So I really appreciate everybody for being here today and just making sure that you have your information up to date before record date.
Thank you again, everyone. And we are actually, this is probably the first time in history you ever got a Plinkett to stop talking as much, and we finished 5 minutes early. So how about that? Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Enjoy some of this beautiful weather if you are here in Kinget Ani, because you know the weather's changing by the minute. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.